students and my dear friends. I'm Dr. Shalini Shukla and we were discussing about the paper 2 of UGC NET JRF preparation. Paper 2 means labor welfare, personal management, industrial relation, labor and social welfare and human resource management. In my first lecture, I have discussed about Unit 1 and the parts of Unit 1. That is two parts, principle and practices of management, and part 2 consists is function of management. In previous lecture, we have discussed the development of management thought, and specifically we have discussed about Taylor and scientific management. If we want to do quick recap, so in lecture 1 we have discussed when management emerged as a subject and discipline, why management emerged, and what is the need of studying this as subject. And specifically we have discussed about the scientific management and its contributors. In previous lecture I have shared this timeline with you. So scientific management is done and now we are going to start with classical organizational theory school. And this classical organizational theory school and the behavioral school coincide with each other. In this we specifically teach about or specifically learn about administrative management and bureaucratic management. You must have learned these two concepts in your MBA. So I'm not going to deal with all these topics in very much details, but we will focus on the contribution of each and every management guru or management expert or researchers. So let's start with today's lecture. And as we all know, scientific management was very much accepted school of thought. Even few scientific management rules and principles are applied in today's scenario as well. But scientific management was also limited and it was affected by certain inherent limitation, and in order to address those limitations a new thought of school has been emerged. If you remember the limitation of scientific management theory which we have discussed in the previous lecture, that workers and union began to oppose this approach, undue pressure on employees, exploitation of workers, and the humanitarian concern of worker is not given due importance in scientific management. Workers were actually treated as a tools and commodities by top management or by organizational owners. So what happened? A new thought emerged, or a new school of thoughts has emerged, that is also called as classical organizational school of thoughts or administrative or bureaucratic theory in simple words. Classical organizational theory grew out of the need to find guidelines for managing complex organizational such as factories. If we talk about the contributors of these classical organizational theory, most important contributors were Henry Fayol and Max Weber. However, there are numbers of other contributors, but in your NET syllabus only these numbers are given. So we will discuss about the contribution of Henry Fayol, Max Weber, Mary Parker and C.I. Bernard. So first start with Henry Fayol. As we all know, Henry Fayol is also called as founder of classical management school or father of modern operational management theory. He was the first researcher which actually investigate the managerial behavior, and he believed that the sound management practice fall into certain patterns that can be identified as well as analyzed. He developed the blueprint of cohesive doctrine of management. Before Fayol, it was believed that managers are born, they are not actually made. But Fayol made every individual realize that no, managers can also be made. How they can be made? By retaining certain managerial principle, by applying certain managerial principles. And whatever principle he has given at that time has much relevance in even today's time. Many organizations even today's they follow the principle of Henry Fayol for efficient management in their organization. He has given 14 principles of management and said if any organization wants to be efficient in managerial process, that organization has to follow these 14 principles, and these 14 principles are also called as 14 principle of Fayol. You all have must have read about these 14 principles in your MBAs in detailed manner, and In this lecture series, we are not going to discuss in detailed manner. You can go through any basic book for detailing of these 14 principles. But we'll have a quick recap of these 14 principles. First principle is division of work. Fayol said work should be properly divided and structured between the laborers and employees. There should be no doubt, no ambiguity, and no conflict of interest in terms of key responsibility areas of employees. Authority and responsibility. Fayol said that with authority there comes a great responsibility. So if you are assigning any, or if you're providing any authority and delegating any power to any employee, any position, that authority should be combined with the responsibility towards organization. Third principle is discipline. Fayol was the proponent of discipline, proper discipline within the organization. Proper discipline means there should be proper rules and regulation for every work, for every operation, for every procedure. Unity of command state that one worker should get command from one supervisor only. There should be no hierarchy, there should be no dual command for one worker. Unity of direction state that whole organization should move in one direction. There should be alignment between the objectives of departments, between the functions of departments, and between the objective of employees as well as objective of organization. Next principle, insubordination of individual interest, means organizational interest should always be given priority over individual interest. Individual interest means employees' interest or employees' objectives. Organizational objectives, organizational goals should always be given superiority over individual goals and objectives. Next is remuneration. This principle states that there should be equity in remuneration. Employee or the worker should get the equal pay for the return of their equal work, and that remuneration should be scientifically designed. There should be no discrepancy, no disparity in remuneration of employees as well as workers. The next principle is the degree of centralization. Fayol was in favor of the centralization of the power. Centralization of the power means formal authority should be concentrated in one area or one level of the organization. There should be no delegation or the less delegation of the power. So, in highly centralized structure, top management makes most of the key decisions in the organization with very little input from lower level employees. So Fayol said there should be high degree of centralization. If there is delegation, there should be proper trade-off between decentralization and centralization. Next principle is scalar chain. Fayol defines the scalar chain as a chain of supervisor ranging from ultimate authority to the lowest rank. He said an employee should feel free to contact his supervisors about anything through the scalar chain. Every order, every message, every request, every instruction or explanation has passed through the proper scalar chain. It means no employee should allow to cross the scalar chain, or no employee should allow to directly contact with the top management without the interference or intervention of the middle level management. Next principle is order. In simple terms, the meaning of order is normal, correct, or fit condition. So, according to this principle of Henry Fayol, a right person should be placed at a right job, at a right thing, should be placed at a right time. In other words, if you want to say, there should be a proper order of everything. Fayol is of the view that every organization, there should be the fixed place for everything to facilitate the smooth working and avoid wastage of resources and time. The next principle is equity. Equity principle is based on the basic thought that every employee of the organization is equal. As we all know, equity means combination of fairness and kindness and justice. So Fayol said, if organization wants devotion from the employee, then organization should treat their employees with kindness and equity. It implies that managers should be fair and impartial while dealing with the subordinates. They should give similar and equal treatment to the people under their position. There should be no partiality from the side of management. Next principle is stability of tenure of personnel. This principle states that in order for smooth functioning of an organization, the employee must not frequently enter or exit the organization. It means there should be control in employee attrition rate. It means there should be job security in the minds of employees. In a very simple term, stability means there should be no frequent changes, termination, and transfer within the organization so that employees can work freely with their full expertise, with their full capacity. Next principle is initiative. In a simple term, initiative means to start, to begin, or to instruct in a project. According to Fayol, under this principle, successful management provides an opportunity to its employee to suggest new ideas, experiences, and more convenient method of doing any work. Fayol believes that employees should be encouraged to take initiative in their work that is assigned to them. So if the employee will initiate, the employee will feel more committed towards that work rather than imposing any work by the management. Last and the most important principle is aspire the group. It is a French word. It means team spirit or group spirit. So as per this principle, organization must make every efforts to maintain its group cohesiveness within the organization. It means organization should work as a team and it should also try to instill the team spirit into every group of the organization so that whole organization can work as a group or as a team in order to achieve the stated objectives and goals. So all these are the principles given by Fayol and these principles are very important. Even UGC many times ask directly questions from these 14 principles. Now discuss about Max Weber. The time period of Max Weber is 1864 to 1920. Sometime UGC asks the time period as well, or if not time period directly, indirectly by asking the name of principal or by asking the name of book. So that you must remember the time period of every contributor, every researcher, every veteran of the management thoughts. Who was Max Weber? Max Weber was the German sociologist and he has given the theory of bureaucratic management. So he is also called as father of bureaucratic management. Before understanding bureaucratic management, you must understand bureaucracy. So what is the bureaucracy? Bureaucracy is a management style which is characterized by certain specific qualities. And if we talk about the qualities, what are those qualities? The qualities are hierarchy, strict regulation, line of authority, secrecy. Even in today's civil society, you can find these types of characteristics. If you go for any IAS, IPS, you can easily find out the quality and the characteristics of bureaucracy over there. That is hierarchy, strict rules and regulations, line of authority, secrecy. They always maintain all these qualities. So Max Weber was a proponent of bureaucratic management. He stressed the need for strictly defined the hierarchy governed by clearly defined rules and regulation and lines of authority. And if we want to know the very apt example of bureaucratic management where bureaucratic management was actually successfully implemented is the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation. So UGC even can ask which type of management theory and which type of management style was opted by Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, and then student will suddenly stun. Okay, from where this question has come? We have never studied this question, and our coachings haven't told us about these types of questions. So UGC has a tendency to ask certain unpredicted questions. So you must keep this in your mind that Delhi Metro Rail Corporation was a successful example of bureaucratic management. Okay, now let's discuss what is actually bureaucratic management, what Weber actually said. Weber considered the ideal organizations to be a bureaucracy whose activities and objectives were rationally thought put and whose division of labor were explicitly spelled. And if we see very clearly, Fayol was at the side of the thought management is art, whereas Weber was at the side of the thought that management is science. So Weber was actually focusing on rationality and logic behind management. He said the technical competency and performance evaluation should be given priority for forming the basis of merit and for forming the basis of promotion. He sought to improve the performance of socially important organizations by making their operations predictable and productive. That is why he was the proponent of rules and regulation. He said there should be the proper rules and regulation so that the organization's operations can be predict and it can be productive. Predictable hoga, it means we can easily identify the errors and the probable errors, and we can easily jot out the productivity of the organization in future course of time. So if any problem arises or we have the fear or the predictability that this particular problem may arise, we can overcome that problem before actually it arises. So in short, Weber focused on rationality of the management, division of the labor, technical competence, performance evaluation, and bureaucratic characteristics of management. So if in UGC paper it is asked that what are the qualities of bureaucratic management, and which type of management style these qualities are suggested. And even UGC can ask who has been the proponent of technical competence, who has been the proponent of rationality and logics behind management, who were the proponent of the bureaucratic characteristics of management style. So you must have the answer as Max Weber. The next researcher is Mary Parker Follett. Time period of Mary Parker is 1868 to 1933. If you see, till Max Weber, the worker was treated as a commodity or as a tool or as a medium of production. But Mary Parker introduced a new element, especially in the area of human relation and organizational structure. Trend initiated by Follett would be further developed by emerging behavioral and management science schools. So if UGC asks that who introduced the concept of human relation or organizational structure into the management theory, it was Mary Parker Follett. Later on, that concept of human relation and organizational structure developed into human resource management. She was convinced that no one could become whole person except as a member of a group. Human being grew through their relationship with others within the organization. She focused on the human relation and the group dynamics within the organization. And she was the lady which called the management as the art of getting things done through people. She was the proponent of management through people, proponent of artificial distinction between managers and subordinates and obscure their natural relationship. She was the great believer of power of the group. As per the Follett, there is a order giver and there is a order taker. Who is order giver? Manager. And who is order taker? Subordinate. So there is a power disparity between managers and subordinate, and there should be the natural partnership between two. Follett said that without managing the human relation within the organization, it was futile to manage the machinery and the tools. If you want your managerial process to be efficient, you have to manage the human relation or the power dynamics within the organization, because management is all about people. It is not about land and capital or machinery. Even one step further, Follett has given the holistic model of control, and in that holistic model, she said there is not only group and the individual, and there is not only the dynamics between the two individual, that is order taker and order giver. There is also the impact of environmental factors. And what are those environmental factors? Politics, ecology, and biology. So she was the researcher which actually gave the holistic model of management, in which she said individual dynamics, group dynamics, and environmental dynamics. All three factors play very important role in managerial process. So UGC may probably ask who has first given the concept of power of group, who has first given the concept of order givers and order taker, who was the researcher or the management thought proponent who has given the first concept of environmental factor, which management researcher called the art of getting things done through people is management. So you must know that was the Follett or the Mary Parker. Now look at into the next proponent and the next management development thought, that is C.I. Bernard. The time period of C.I. Bernard is 1886 to 1961. C.I. Bernard has extended the work of Mary Parker. He said people come together in formal organizations to achieve end that they cannot achieve individually or alone. So in other sense, he extended the work of Mary Parker in case of social relationship or human relationship. They pursue the organizational goals but must also satisfy their individual goal. So you can see after Mary Parker, the emphasis started on human aspect of management. Although C.I. Bernard and Mary Parkers were contemporary as well, but as in management researchers, one researcher carry on the work of other researcher and add on something new. So Bernard add that there should be the proper alignment between the organizational goals as well as the individual's goals. He said if the individual goals are not achieved, not satisfied, then people generally leave those organizations. He clearly said an enterprise can operate efficiently and survive only when the organization's goals are kept in balance with the aims and needs of the individual workers or individual employees working for it. He further discussed about the zone of indifference or area of acceptance. Student, please remember these two concepts. In UGC, it can be directly asked who has given the concept of zone of indifference, area of acceptance, and UGC even can directly ask what is zone of indifferences, what is area of acceptance. So it is given by C.I. Bernard, and it is actually the range of activities given by a manager which the employee is willing to follow without reservation or without judgment or without asking any question from the manager. That is zone of indifference or area of acceptance. Both things are same. It is a type of psychological contract between the manager and employee. Between the manager means order giver, employee means or subordinate means order taker. It includes the set of expectation that an employee has of his employer and the contribution that the employee is willing to make towards his employer. But in return of this contribution, definitely employee has certain expectation from the management and from the organization. So employee gives their effort, their skills, their loyalty, their creativity to the organization, and in return what employee wants? Job security, proper career path, and equitable salary. So it is a responsibility of the top management or the organization to satisfy the individual goals as well as the organizational goal. There should be no negligence of individual needs or individual satisfaction if organization wants to work or manage efficiently. More activities that fell into the employee zone of indifferences, the smoother and more cooperative an organization would. So if organization wants to increase the zone of indifferences or area of acceptance, it means it has to also increase the employees benefit. And why organization should increase this area of acceptance? Because more activities in the area of acceptance may leads to smooth and cooperative functioning of an organization. Bernard also talk about the executive duty to instill a sense of moral purpose into their employee. Means CI Bernard said that it is a responsibility of the manager that they should instill the sense of moral duty into their employees so that they will feel more committed and they become more loyal towards organization. So UGC can ask that who has given this concept of instilling moral purpose into their employees? It was the CI Bernard. Who has given the concept of zone of indifferences? It was CI Bernard. And what is zone of indifferences or area of acceptance? It is the area in which employee actually follow the manager's directions without asking any question, because employee feel that it is their duty to follow their order or to follow their instruction, because if they give something to the organization, then only in return organization will give something to them and their objectives can be fulfilled. So in today's discussion we have discussed about Henry Fayol, Max Weber, Mary Parker Follett and C.I. Bernard. These are the references that you can go through. Now look at into the some practice questions. Question number 1. Who is the father of administrative management theory? It was Max Weber, Frank Gilbert, Henry Fayol or Henry Gann. You can write answer into the comment section. Question number 2. Today's organizations are working on the principle of production orientation, product orientation, selling orientation and consumer orientation. And this question has already been asked in UGC exam. Question number 3. Which among the following is not concerned with the PERT evolution? Polaris Project, Lockheed Aircraft Corporation, C. Both A and B, D. None of the above. Question number 4. The principle of organization that no employee should report to more than one supervisor is called as A. Scalar principle, B. Span of control, C. Unity of command, D. Unity of direction. So you can write the answer of these questions into comment section. If you like, please share and subscribe. And if you have any query, you can ask and type into comment section. I'll try to answer it. Thank you, student. In next lecture, we will be discussing about behavioral approach, system approach, quantitative approach and contingency approach. That's all for today. Thank you so much.